Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hello, everyone. It's always such a joy to be here with you today. And today, I think you're going to be very excited about our show. But again, welcome to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. And as you just heard, we're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. So much thanks to them. Tonight, we explore the thin line between being a victim of the unknown and a master of the unseen. As we sit down with our guest who has spent her career documenting the world through a lens of truth, only to find truth staring back from the shadows. After 15 years in Nashville, pursuing a career in communications and photojournalism, C.L.Thomas found her analytical world shattered by a terrifying, life-altering confrontation with a demonic-like force in a seemingly ordinary rental home. And this experience didn't just fuel her gripping book, Dancing with Demons, it transformed her into a bridge between realms. Now she is a respected spirit artist trained under the spiritual church and the host of the Gateway and Small Town Tales. CL uses her background in fine arts photography to capture the unseen and her empathetic gifts to translate spirit frequencies into visual portraits. She hosts the Gateway podcast on this network, and CL does that brilliantly. And that podcast is your passageway into the strange, the spiritual, and the unexplained. Each week, she crosses the threshold between worlds, exploring real-life paranormal encounters, haunted history, supernatural phenomenon, and the mystery that mainstream media won't touch. I'm super excited to dig into all of this, and we're going to be diving deep into that. So let me introduce her. CL, hi. So
hi, how are you? Hello from Vegas.
Yes, beautiful Vegas. Oh, we already have folks popping in. Hi, Hillbilly Herb. So great to see you.
I like that name, Hillbilly Herb.
Yeah, I know. Everybody cracks up at it. It's just so brilliant. Great. And don't forget, if you're viewing us on any of the social media platforms, be sure and hop into our chat. CL would love to hear from you. Take some questions and comments. Don't be shy. Come on in. So I'm going to ask you to talk about what I just read a little bit, kind of give us your backstory. And then, of course, I want to dig in to what happened to you with that incredibly, I guess, demonic haunting, right? That you experienced. So take the stage for a minute or two and kind of give us your background and tell us how you got from there to here.
Oh gosh, that could take all day. I feel like I lived like several different lives, you know, through work and paranormal and everything else, everything in between. But long story short, when I first moved to Nashville, I moved into this house with a significant other at the time, and that house was haunted. It had a lot of activity going on, and that just changed the course of the paranormal for me. So prior to that, I kind of grew up with the paranormal. I've been having experiences since I was a very young child. It's some of the first memories that I have are paranormal, seeing spirits, things in my room, and just different things happened. And, you know, along the way, like every kid, you kind of forget about it. And I kind of dusted off and was more focused on school at the time, getting an education and starting a career. I was on track for a medical career. That's where I was going at first. With this house I lived in with my significant other, we started experiencing a lot of paranormal activity, and that just kind of woke everything up again for me. And it kind of just put the spiritual, or the paranormal, I should say, on the forefront. So all of this series of events have happened, and it got pretty frightening. It was the first time that I was ever actually afraid of the paranormal. And so I started looking into different paranormal groups. I found that there was like over 300 investigative groups out there at the
Wow.
time. And then there was like, of course, the TV shows and all that sort of thing. And I started reaching out to people, and my roommate at the time, long story short, my significant other and I had broken up because of the paranormal hauntings and things. We went our own separate ways, and I had a best friend move in with me, and she started experiencing the paranormal as well. And she started looking into getting help from a lot of the paranormal groups and different people out there. So that unfolded on its own, and then here I am, I guess.
Yeah, huh?
10 years later, I think that was 15 years ago now. A little over that, maybe. I'm kind of dating myself here. Probably about, I think, 16, 18 years ago. It was a while.
What exactly did you go through in that house?
Oh,
Like, give us some
gosh.
examples.
There was stuff being thrown around, a lot of noises. It started small first. So it was like little things. You would just hear like shuffling or things moving around the house. My ex was very peculiar about where things went. So he was just one of those kinds of guys. Like, he was in med school, of course, and so the keys always had to go on the key ring. The purse always had to be in this spot. The dish always had to go. You know what I mean? He was just one of
Yeah.
those very particular and detailed oriented people. And it was small things. The keys would not be on the key ring. And I know one of us didn't do it. It was just habit. They would end up on the floor behind the counter, things like that, just random spaces where stuff would just end up. And then it built over time. So it was kind of like a tornado or a storm that builds and builds and builds. That's
Yeah.
how it was. And so it was like small at first, shuffling, things moving around, noises. We heard scratching, tapping on, just normal things like that. And then, well, I wouldn't say normal, but you know what I mean. In a normal haunting, it escalated to the point where it was affecting us, our personalities.
Oh, yeah.
So, especially for me, that happened toward the end of living in that house. He became very angry. I think it's hard to explain, but he became very angry. I got scratched a couple times. It was really scary. It got to the point where I couldn't sleep with the lights off for months. I just got in the habit of leaving them on because I just never knew what was going to happen. Even though you couldn't see
Yeah.
this, I don't know, for whatever reason, it seemed not safe. But you know what I mean. Everyone does this, where if they're afraid of a spirit or something, they always turn on the light. It's like, it's a mental thing, I think.
Oh, God, yeah. Like, it's funny how, and Michelle talks about that she's not afraid of the dark. Like, and some people are not, but if I get like, if my spidey senses are high that night, I will put the light on because I'm a chicken. So,
Yeah, I slept like that for probably a good year and a half.
wow.
So,
And then you just left, I would imagine. You said, "I had enough of this. I'm out."
well, no, that's not exactly how it happened. So, I became. It was almost like an oppressive state. Like, this thing can just consumed me, all
Mm,
consuming. I didn't want to hang out with friends anymore. I just wanted to sit around and do EVP sessions. And whenever I traveled, it was just to haunted locations. And it was just like an all consuming obsession that I just couldn't pull myself out of. And I became very angry. I was very depressed. It just affected me mentally, spiritually, and then physically. I really feel like, so the next thing I'm going to say is, I'm not saying that the paranormal can cause cancer,
yeah.
but in my case, it did. So I ended up with stage 2 cancer. It was a very aggressive form of cancer that I had. So it was an immediate thing. As soon as they found it, I was in for surgery like the week after. And then I was starting chemo treatments directly after that. So I didn't come home from the hospital for probably a month later.
Oh,
But during
wow.
that time, my roommate and all of my friends got together, and she went and found a different place to live, and they just moved all my stuff out. So that's how that happened. It
Good.
just came to an abrupt end.
Hi, Michelle. I believe that it sounds like you had an oppression and not so much a possession, but like you were oppressed by this.
Right.
I mean, I believe it could cause an illness, and I've heard so many stories of people getting sick from um, entities in their homes and stuff. So that doesn't shock me. So after you moved out, then things went back to normal. You didn't feel oppressed anymore. Did that take time? Like,
It took a lot of time to heal from that. It did. So the spirit didn't follow us, but the aftermath kind of did. It
mm,
took years to kind of
oh
get
wow,
over that. And I would research and research. And, there's all these TV shows about similar hauntings on TV and things like that. And gosh, I'll talk about this now. I didn't before, but, I reached out to a lot of different paranormal people who are claiming to be experts at this stuff. They wouldn't even, I just don't think they knew how to to get over
wow,
this. I think a lot of stuff that these people are saying are just strictly for television. They
yeah.
really don't know how to deal with real life when things like this happen. That's my conclusion, and that's what I'm starting to come out with. So stay tuned for that. I am going to start talking about that a lot more.
Oh,
But
good.
the things I did learn along the way are um, I started investigating cases like mine. And the number one thing I found that is that they always have a lot of drama in their life. There's always some kind of aspect hanging in the background. And I feel like that's almost like a target for the spiritual in some way,
Absolutely.
like a wake up call, I guess. So there's that. So it was a lot of self healing and counseling, things like that to move forward.
So you really didn't have a particular support group other than your
No,
friends.
no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
There was one lady in town, and she's a witch. She's the witch of Nashville. Her name is Tish, and she was amazing through this whole thing. We had a priest come out. We had a paranormal investigative group come out. None of those guys were any help whatsoever. The priest actually made things a lot worse when he
Yeah.
left. The paranormal group, they came in, they documented, they got their evidence, but they weren't able to help in any way. Other than being there just to collect evidence, they were absolutely no help whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um,
How long did you live there for, CL, before you
it was
were?
it all happened within a year.
Oh,
It was very
wow.
quick. Yeah. Very, very quick.
I probably would have gave it 2 months. I would have.
It was a beautiful place to live though. It was one
Oh,
of
I'm
those
sure.
places like once you get your foot in there, you just didn't want to leave. It was gorgeous. Beautiful place.
And sometimes you can get, like, I've heard people get almost addicted to it, where, like you said, you were doing research and going to other haunted homes. It almost becomes like a force that drives you to like want to find out more and see. So you never really found out what this entity was, right? Like, did
We
you get
did.
any leads that? Oh, you did.
Well, kind of. We came to the conclusion, I will say this, there was a historian on that paranormal research team that did a great job. Now, she wasn't really part of the actual investigative cleansing team that they were
Mhm.
saying that they had. She was more of the research where she went into the National Archives and things like that and pulled
Oh,
up a lot
nice.
of records. And the things that she was able to find was that the property was on the it was on the front line for the Battle of Nashville. It was also the location of where they would have had slave cabins for a plantation house that existed about a mile or so down the road.
Oh, geez.
Excuse me. There were some other things going on that property too.
What were some of the EVPs that you got? Like
Oh
what
man, there was so
down
many
that
of them. Some of them were kind of comical. I wish I still had them. That I don't have them anymore. It was so long ago. I tried to get a copy from that team, and of course they didn't have them either because they broke up. They don't have any of that stuff anymore. But and that, that's another whole topic for another conversation. But one of the EVPs said that whenever the team was going to leave, one of the guys that was investigating said, he goes, "This is your last chance. Speak now or forever hold your peace," or something like that. And you hear plain as day a response to that says, "Don't come back," in a deep, growling male's voice. There was a lot of children's voices. This is kind of interesting. There was a lot of children's voices, but there was no children on the property anywhere. The other thing that it said, it kept calling my name. Like you would hear in little girls' voices.
Yeah.
Where's Crystal? Where's Crystal? Because they sent me away that weekend whenever they were doing their investigative stuff. So it was almost like mocking, very mocking.
Yeah. Well, it could have been a demonic just imitating children too,
Yeah.
You don't know that for sure. Michelle just said mental health living with paranormal is dreadful. Yeah, I can just imagine what the toll that takes on you. Yeah, but you said you went to therapy and stuff, right?
I did. During that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this thing made me suicidal and everything.
Oh, jeez.
It was a horrible experience to go through. And whenever I read cases like this, though, they're all the same. It's all the same. The same exact story. I see it again and again. So it's really interesting.
I guess Michelle she said, for me, I wanted answers, and sometimes you don't get the answers you're looking for. I guess she experienced something similar. Yeah. I hear so many of those stories too. And recently I've been hearing a lot of like residual haunting things where people try to interact with these entities, but they get ignored. It's more like a residual thing. But for you, it sounded like it was a living experience.
Right. There's a definite difference between the residual and an active haunting. Definitely. So if you're just seeing like how you go into some of these old hotels and one of the number one things they'll say is, "Oh, there's a lady in red." There's a, whatever it may be, a lady in white, lady in red. There's always a lady in some kind of common outfit.
Yeah.
That is residual, always residual. It's never an active haunting because they'll see it. They see the same thing over and over enough to where hundreds of people might see this thing, but it doesn't really interact with anyone. You can't really communicate with them or anything like that.
Did you have anybody teach you how to like ground yourself and protect yourself during that time? Did you do that research? Oh, see.
No, not back then. I know now, but not back then. Not back then.
I hear that helps a lot during those types of hauntings. And actually, they say not to get angry at them and because sometimes you see that, like, especially on those TV shows, they get angry and start yelling at the ghosts and the spirits. And that's not a thing to do. I don't think that's a healthy thing to do. But I think it's important to stand your ground and tell them, like, this is my home. You can't be here, kind of thing. Whether, that would help. I don't know. Do you think once a location is haunted, it's just like, did you ever look to see who lives in there now or after that, if they ever had any experiences?
So it's interesting what happened to that property. There was a Nashville flood shortly after. It was a flood it's like 100 years flood or something that occurred, and that entire area got flooded out. There was a little creek that ran right past the house, and that became like a river, and just that whole house and property got devastated. So that house, the house next to it, the house across the way from it, also all of them got torn down and rebuilt. So now they're
Oh,
new structures.
yeah.
But I've always been interested in that too, because we always believed that it wasn't so much the houses, it was more the land.
Yeah. That's what it
So
sounds.
I am kind of interested in knowing. I just never really stepped foot on that property again to
Yeah.
know.
Well, you're in Vegas now, so that would be traveling to Nashville, and it would be a pain in the butt. But
Yeah.
I mean, it would be definitely interesting to, go back and see if the new properties have the same. How did you deal with your fear during that time? I mean, you had to have fear.
It wasn't good. Like, I got sick from it. It was I wasn't well trained. I didn't know what to do. I didn't understand it. It was a long process. It took years for me to be able to get over that
Gosh.
situation.
And you wrote a book about this, correct?
I did, and I wanted to try to help people because I keep hearing the same story over and over again. And, these people will reach out to the people on TV and things like that. And of course, these people aren't going to help them unless it's a TV show or something like that. So
Yeah.
I wanted to write a book, and I wanted to kind of bring up the fact that you do have to stand your own ground. You kind of have to, in a process, there's a lot of self help that you can do, because I don't really believe anymore that somebody can go in and help clean somebody's life up like this with
Mm.
a haunting. You can clear a property, things like that, but as far as like the person is concerned, I'm sorry about my cat.
Oh,
I really feel like it's the person involved has to play a role in it too. So if they're not willing to change their life in some way, and what I mean by that is, again, whenever you interview these people that are going through something like this, there's always some kind of underlying drama in
yeah.
their life. There's always something. You can find it. There's always something. So it's a lot of cleaning up your own life, looking at your own life.
I
What does
agree with
this
that
mean?
1,000%.
When spirit is interacting like this, what does that mean for me? Do I need to listen? Do I need to clean up my life a bit? What about this addiction over here? Do I need to put that away? What about my hobbies? Are they helping me in any way? Or are they causing some of this? Just little things to look at in your own life to help yourself too along the way.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Do you think that these spirits feed on specific vibrations? Well, I guess it's a rhetorical question because I guess they do, but do you think they feed on specific vibrations of fear, or simply some people resonate a loud frequency that they can tap into? Maybe it's a light, maybe some people have like a brighter light, something attracts them. Maybe it's grief. I mean, it could be a dozen things, right?
It could be a lot of stuff. Yeah, I think you're going to attract what you're looking for one. What you put out, you're going to bring back in.
Yes.
So, for instance, um, a lot of the TV people, they go into these places. Like, I'm going to use Goldfield Hotel as a good example. It's in my backyard. I go there all the time. Every time I go there, I have great experiences. I've gotten to the point where I kind of know some of the spiritual things going on there. I know some of the spirits. Not once have I been possessed. Not once have I, been hit or smacked or anything like that. But yet there's a couple people that will go in there that's on TV, and they have horrible things happen to them every single time. Now, is that for TV, or is that real life experiences? And if it is that kind of what they're looking for? Is that what their vibration is bringing in? Because that's not my experience. I have a couple of friends that go too. That's not their experience. So you have to wonder about this.
Yeah.
Like you said, you see guys going in and yelling at these spirits and things like that. on what kind of reaction are you going to get from that? That's, you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
don't think that's a wise way to deal with it.
yeah. And I think the other thing too is any kind of interaction that you have with the spirit world, I really recommend just listening. Because maybe at the end of the day, like I'm able to track everything back and I'm like, maybe that was a wake up call to change my life. Because my life has been so much better since then. I've been able to move forward. I know now how to bring positive stuff into other people's lives. I'm able to share different things. And it kind of woke me up into kind of being a medium with the spirit art and being able to help people in that direction. So maybe whenever you do start having these experiences with spirits, maybe it's not supposed to be a scary thing all the time. Maybe it means you should just listen and figure out, is that spirit trying to contact you to help you? Because I believe a lot of these occurrences are personnel help from guides and loved ones that's passed on, things like that. They may not even be a fearful haunting. They're just there to try to help you in some way.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you were
so there's
intuitive
that.
enough. You were intuitive enough to see that and let that change happen. I mean, I
Right.
would imagine for some people, it's not always such a positive ending. Hillbilly said, agreed, paranormal and mental health challenges. Being compound, I still have PTSD from walking in on a burglar. Oh, goodness.
Gosh, that's
I also
horrible.
hear voices when I'm near sleep, so I'm always afraid someone oh, goodness, yeah.
As
Yeah,
far as your other question where you said, um, if you can be a beacon of light, you can absolutely, because even now, the place I'm living in now in Vegas, it is absolutely not haunted. But every now and then I'll have experiences come through, and I think it's just spirits. You're kind of like a beacon light.
yes,
And so they just pass through, but it's not what I would consider a haunting.
right, and it's
These are
not
just spirits
it doesn't
passing
sound
through.
malicious. It
Right.
doesn't sound yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolute. I mean, it's like sometimes you can walk in a building too, and you can pick up on some, some spirit in the building, and, like, I'll shut that down right there. If I pick up on something, I'll just do a protection prayer, and I shut it down because I don't wanna take anything home with me. So I think that protection is an important aspect of it too.
Absolutely.
I'm getting some good comments here. Let me see. Oh, I guess he's talking to Michelle because Michelle obviously had, this type of experience as well. Hi, Ashraf, so good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Um, so you often talk about the gateway and how much the gateway is an external, like, location versus an internal state of mind. Is it? What do you mean by the gateway?
So the gateway, you mean the name of the show or the program that I
Yeah,
use?
yeah, like, what does that term mean to you? Is that a bridge between
No, it's more of it's a gateway to the other world, to the other side, to higher consciousness is what I'm referring to. But
okay.
there is a program that I've used called the Gateway Program by the Monroe Institute. And that,
Oh, I've heard so much about them.
yes, I've done that program twice. It's a meditational program to help you with remote viewing and mediumship and all sorts of other things. And that program has really helped me a lot over the years.
And it's a meditation program?
Hmm. It is. It uses HemiSync. So,
I haven't heard of that.
yeah, I can never say the name right. Binaural beats. And it's
Yeah,
supposed to synchronize your brain so that the whole point of it is to move past your left brain or right brain. I always forget which one it is. Um, it might be your right brain, so that you can move on into that that trance state to be able to do mediumship and to be able to do remote viewing, things like that.
I think left brain is the cognitive and right brain is the intuitive.
Okay.
So
So
so do
moving past your
you
left brain.
yeah. Yeah, I think I'd like to move past my left brain too, just
I always get them confused. I know it's one or the other.
yeah, because 'cause I'm a right brain person, so I always, remember that, but because like right brain people typically suck at maths and stuff like that.
Right,
Like
right.
we're just not good at like a lot of cognitive stuff, like math and science, but I love it, but I'm just not good at it. Um, so this program, I mean, I would love to take a course like that, but I heard they're kind of costly.
They're very costly. I got around it because back in the day they had it on eBay. Some people um, had posted the digital files to that program on eBay, and that's
Oh,
where I bought it
wow.
from. Hmm. So if
Nice.
you look, sometimes you can find it on there before they pull it down. I used to have them. I could send them. I have all of them except for wave two. They come in waves. There's 7 different waves, and they're sets. So I do have the guide, and I have 6 of the waves. So if anyone wants to try it, email me. I'll send them to you.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Because I heard those binaural beats, like they have them on YouTube too. You can listen to them, and I heard they really do affect the brain in a positive way.
They're supposed to help with all kinds of stuff, with
Yeah.
artistic ability, just with depression. People use them for illnesses. There's a whole segment in there about self healing.
Yeah.
And that's usually what they're doing is they're calling Reiki in energy to heal yourself.
Mm.
It's a great program. I highly recommend it for people to just try it. I will tell you, Robert Monroe, he's the guy who does all the voiceovers for it, for the meditational. He's a little chatty and he's a little dry. So it is tough to get through them. But if you take into account what you're trying to do, I highly recommend doing them at least once and just hanging in there with them.
Now you're an artistic person as well. That was part of your degree, right?
Right.
Photojournalism. How do you incorporate that into the spirit world?
So I do a lot of spirit art, and that's how I incorporate. It's not so much the photo journalism. Well, I guess I do with my traveling and with the magazine, but with the spirit art, it's more sketching. So it's like doing mediumship, but instead of doing a normal reading, I sketch it for you.
So does the act of drawing a spirit in your spirit art help you like demystify the entity and take away some of its power that frightens you? Like how do you benefit and other people from that?
Um, I think it's more, it doesn't have anything to do with taking fear away or anything like that. This is more evidential mediumship to where I'm able to draw the person that's coming through for the sitter.
So what do you do? Go to a location and then is it like automatic writing in a way or
Yeah, it's very
it?
much like that. Yeah, it is. No, I can go to locations and do that, but for the most part, it's just regular readings. So I'll sit down with a client and do like a mediumship reading, like a reader would, and instead of using tarot cards or anything like that, I
Oh, I
sketch.
see.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I think I like that even better than tarot cards because it's coming from your essence, it's coming from your spirit and your creativity, whereas an external source like through tarot cards. Yeah.
Yeah, tarot cards and mediumship are 2 different things. So tarot cards, it's more straightforward.
Yeah.
Um, you don't really have to even be a medium, I believe, to use tarot cards. It's almost like a game. Not saying that it is, but they do have their place. It's same with the oracle cards. Um, it's more for like predicting the future,
Yeah.
for deciphering like what to do in certain situations, things like that. Whereas
Yeah.
mediumship is more about communication with the spirit,
Yeah,
direct
absolutely.
communication with the spirit. Those are the differences.
It's funny years ago. years ago, I used to do tarot card readings. And as an empath, I kind of implemented that more. Like I learned about the cards and learned their meanings, but I stopped doing it because I felt like I was interfering in the natural order of things. And I didn't want what I said to affect people so that they would change that. I don't know if that makes sense,
It
but I
does.
kinda yeah, I kinda got bad vibes from doing that, and I just stopped, but, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying all tarot cards you readers would get that, but I just
I think it depends on the reader too, because I've been to some
yeah,
fantastic readers, and then you get the people who, gosh, they don't even know the cards. They're not a medium. They're nothing. They're just doing it for money, and they're horrible.
Instagrammed everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So
They're awful, they message you, like they hound you to
right,
get your cards
exactly.
read.
Or
Awful.
you'll go to them, and they're sitting there looking at the book. Oh, what does that card mean? It's like, really?
Yeah. I you
I
gotta
could have
laugh
just
at
done this
some of it.
myself.
Right, exactly. And meanwhile, 50, 60, $70 later, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
I mean, I appreciate their ingenuity and their drive to make money, but when it comes to high strangeness, it's not the place you wanna do that. It's
Yeah.
just
I
not
do,
a
you
good
know what
fit.
though? There's some great readers. I mean, Michelle Welsh is one of them. She's a friend of mine. She's from Texas. She's a great reader. When you combines, she's very intuitive and very psychic. So when you combine those two items with tarot card reading, it's unbelievable. Some of the
Oh,
stuff
I
that
can
she can come
imagine.
up with.
See,
But
I
for
would do it with a recommendation, like somebody like you tells me this person's phenomenal. I would like to check it out. But it's just weird how I thought what I was telling people was going to interfere with the natural path that they would have taken and makes them start doubting themselves. And it just left me with like an uncomfortable vibe. So it's not for everyone. It's not. Now you're an empath as well, right, CL?
yes,
So how do you distinguish between, because I find it a bridge to cross carefully to like distinguish between your own fear and the residual fear left by a location or a person that you're even trying to help. And that's a big one for me.
that took me years,
Yeah.
years to figure that one out. And you know what it is? Knowing yourself.
Yes.
Knowing yourself. That's the number one thing with that.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself, and I still do it, like I'll go into because truthfully, when you go into any kind of paranormal investigating, these haunted locations, whatever it may be, um, some of these places carry really heavy stories.
Oh
Most of
God.
them do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always find myself carrying that around. I even had readings just recently that I carry that with me sometimes. It's hard for me to just put that down and forget about it.
Yes.
So it's like anything, you just kind of have to step back and just realize this isn't mine. I can hang this up. This isn't mine to keep.
That's so well said, because it does take a long time for empaths to get that message. And like I went a lifetime before I got that. And I found that grounding, like with my grounding chakra, is a very powerful thing to do. And I always
Mhm.
use the example of like, I hate going into Walmart. Nothing against
Yeah.
Walmart, but I don't like going in there. The vibes are like really thick and dense, and this, I could tell you stories, but so I just started probably about a year ago, just grounding myself almost with like an invisibility cloak before I go in there, because I just want to get my stuff and not be seen and leave. Like, so if you use that same thing, even when you walk in a restaurant, do you get that when you go in a crowded place too, or do you know how to ground
I
that now?
do. I do. That still happens
Yeah.
where sometimes some places are just so overwhelming for me. Like I don't like going to concerts anymore. I used to photograph live concerts all the time, like for CMA Fest and all that stuff. I
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
going to concerts anymore. I don't go to them. I like music. I just don't go. I have a friend here who's always trying to get
It's
me
a
to go to
lot.
concerts. I just don't like being in that anymore. It's
Yeah,
too loud. There's too much going on. It's
yeah.
just not happiness for me anymore.
And I
It's
don't think
too
it has anything
overwhelming.
to do with age. I think it just has to do with the frequency that you're resonating.
Mhm.
You just can't hack it anymore. So I
Yeah.
totally relate to that.
There's some locations that are like that for me, on paranormal investigating, that I just don't like. There's just too much going on at any one time. There's just too many layers,
Yeah.
too much. That's all I can
Yeah.
say about it, just too much.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I don't
You
know.
gotta protect yourself. You know that you're there to help other people, but you're first. It's kind of like the airplane mask theory. You know, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help other people. And that takes a long time to get that message.
Right. I
Yeah.
have and this kind of stuff translate. Some of the listeners out there that may not have any abilities or anything like that, paranormal, that are listening, this also applies into your real life. So this kind of goes back into cleaning up the aspects and the vibrational fields in your own life.
Yeah.
Um, I have a physician friend who he's an emergency physician and he's in Nashville, but he used to tell me because he goes through losing patients all the time and bad wrecks. He sees it all. He sees the last time we talked, he had a woman that was just beat up really bad, and he
Oh.
said he had a really hard time leaving that at the office. And I asked him, like, how do you leave that at the office? And he said, well, he imagines a tree right outside his house. So when he's
Mm.
going home, he hangs whatever it is that he saw, whatever patient, whatever it may be, goes on the tree. It does not go into his house. It doesn't cross that threshold.
Oh, wow.
So that can apply to anybody's life. So
Yeah.
whatever it may be out there that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, it could be, someone that you have a hard time with at your own office or anything really. Before you go home, keep your space. That should be your
Yeah.
sanctuary. Hang that on that tree. Don't bring that across the threshold because then that's how
Like that.
everything starts to manifest in your own home.
Absolutely. I really like that a lot. Yeah, Hillbilly Herb said he also uses the invisibility cloak if he feels like he's gonna be in an unsafe place where he might be a target. I will be invisible to and it's just people goof on affirmations like they think they don't work, but they really do,
They
CM.
do. They do
They
work.
really work because words are spelling, right? You cast a spell on yourself or on others with your words. I mean, they prove that with the water, the test that they're doing with the water, that water retains images. And if you put like words over cups, what was that? Dr. Emoto, he did a whole big research project where he got 3 glasses of water and he put love, hate, and nothing on the other one, and the glass with the word love on it never changed. It stayed vibrant looking, clean, pure. The one with hate got like moldy looking and dark.
Oh,
And the one with nothing started very slowly turning bad. So, words have power, right?
they do.
So
Absolutely.
affirmations are like brilliant. Whenever you like what I do, whenever I start to have negative thoughts, I say the same mantra all the time, and it works great for me. I say, "Everything is fine in this now moment. The universe always works in my favor," and so on. And, I think it's important for people to do that whenever they have negative thoughts or fears, because it does abate them. You do anything like that for yourself?
I do meditational stuff all the time. So yes, I do. What's interesting, when you said that though, what came to my mind is not that like into the Bible a whole lot or anything like that, but what's the first thing in the Bible? There was the Word, and the Word was God, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of
Yeah,
like
that's a
spoke
beautiful
himself
connection. That's a beautiful
in the power.
connection. It's true. There was a word and the word was God. Yeah, exactly. Words have a lot of power. They really do. And it's so trippy because I've been interviewing a lot of people that um one in particular, this gentleman named Jerry Marzinski. He was a psychotherapist for decades and he treated schizophrenic patients. And long story short, he discovered that the voices they were hearing were not their own, that they were demonic. And he had proof of that. And he showed the proof. He's got volumes and volumes of it. And for folks that are interested, you could just go on my YouTube channel and search for Jerry, just the word Jerry, it'll come up. But it just blew my mind because if you think about it, whose voice are we hearing inside of our head? Is it our own or is it external? Have you ever thought about that?
I think about that all the time. It's interesting.
It
Especially when
really
you're
is.
dealing with the spirit world too. And I know that, a lot of people out there are still arguing about whether demons exist or not, or to me, that's not even part of the argument anymore. It doesn't matter if they exist or not.
You said
It
it
could
doesn't
be,
matter?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we call these things. They could be
Oh,
demons, they could be imps, they could be elementals,
right.
whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. We know that there's something.
Absolutely. There absolutely is something. I mean, and it's the yin and yang thing. You can't have darkness without light, so it's pervasive in ourselves and in the universe. It's a binary world. It's opposites of
Mm-hmm.
each other, right?
Right.
Zeros and ones. I mean, it's reflective everywhere. Um, I like what Heidi has here. She said, "One
Hi,
thing I do
Heidi.
see and repeat." Yeah, she's my star sister. "I am love, I am light, I am loved, and I am protected and connected." That's a beautiful affirmation.
That is.
Yeah, yeah,
That
I
is.
love it, and it's good to switch them up too. It's good to switch them up. Do you think the voices in our heads, because let's face it, we've all had intrusive voices at some point. And I've heard hundreds of stories where a friend that I interviewed was said that he was cutting meat for his dog, and all of a sudden he heard a voice say, and he loved this dog like a son. He heard a voice say, "Take that knife, turn around, and kill your dog." And he was like, "What? Where did that come from?" We all have weird things that go on in our head, things that make you go, "What? Where did that?" Like, I would never think that or do that. Where did that come from? And, it shocked him. And he just prayed his way out of that one because he really felt it was a negative entity or something trying to like bridge the gap between himself and his spirit. Where do you think those voices come from? Do you think that they're invasive entities? We can, like you said, call them whatever you want.
It kind of depends on the case. Um, gosh, that's a hard one because I've been in contact with a demonic force before. I've seen how elementals, both negative and positive. I've seen just a lot of different things. So I don't know. I don't really have a good
Yeah.
answer for that one.
It's a tough one. I don't think anybody really knows definitively what they are. And you hear them say that they're after our loosh. They want the energy from us, that they feed off the energy of fear. And do you believe that?
I do, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's some scary stuff.
It's hard to answer that though. I know the first time I've ever been in contact with elementals, it was in Southern California, of all places. And I had no,
What's
like,
that
I
like?
would think imps and things would be like, I don't know why I was associating that with England and Ireland and those kind of places, but they're everywhere. There's a version of that everywhere all across the world. not
What
just
was that like, the elementals? Maybe you can explain for folks that don't exactly know.
So, the property that I was on, it was a, orchard, and the orchard was built on it was for almonds. It's one of the only places that almonds will grow is in this area of, California and the other places in Italy. But this lady, her house was haunted, and she called us in to try to help her, and I was out in the orchard and we were out there filming and we saw these little 4-foot shadows, like they would run right in between the trees, like across the rows. We would see them and I'd be like, "Did you see that?" And he'd go, "Yeah." And then we would see like little balls of light hanging next to the ground. Um,
Wow.
it was obviously something spiritual, but for me, I was able to go, "Yeah, that is elemental." And it's because they don't communicate with me at all. I can't communicate with them. They don't talk to me, they don't it's but they're there, they're running between the trees and things like that.
Hmm.
It's just a different feeling. You don't get the
Is
same vibrations as you would
right.
a human spirit.
Is that typical for an elemental, that they don't contact us? Or
I have no idea, I kinda
Mm.
maybe think so. I think so, and it's because you're on a different vibrational, but I'm not sure.
I don't think they're typically evil from what I heard. I think they're more mischievous, right?
That's what I hear. This one, however, was associated with Native American
Oh.
energy, so what and I had to go back and ask. We actually had some Native Americans come and help with this case,
Oh, nice.
and, they tell me that what happens, particularly in the Southwest where I'm at, one of the biggest things that you experience out here in the ghost towns are those little elementals.
Oh, no
Um,
kidding.
mm-mm. And the reason being is they say that the Native Americans called them up. They wanted them to protect that land so no one else can use it because they were kicked off the land.
Oh,
That's the whole purpose. So they're fearful, they're scary. They create this there's this place I'm actually going back to this weekend up in the mountains. It's an old gold camp and there was a Native American who was slaughtering people that was traveling down the old Spanish Trail toward the end of the century. And this guy was what he was doing was he was taking the horses from one end of the trail running to this camp, and this is where he would hide out. And of course, the law couldn't find him because he was so far up in the mountains. There was no access to get
yeah.
there. And so it was a great hideout for him. But then he would turn around and sell the horses on the other end of the trail in California, coming the opposite way. How evil is that, right? But kind of funny when you think about it. But that property is just overrun with these elementals. It's like really like you just get the spooks every time you're out there. I have a friend who just will not even step foot on the property ever again.
Oh, no kidding.
It's that every time I go, like I get the chills even thinking about it.
Do they look the same when you encounter them? Like, are they just these shadowy light
Yeah, they're
figures?
just shadows. I just see them as shadows, like little itty bitty shadows. These
Yeah,
ones are like 2 feet. They're like 4 feet, 2 feet. Most of them are 2 feet, like around there, 2, 3 feet tall.
but
Um,
they're not fairies.
See, I don't know what the difference is. I really
Yeah,
don't know. There's so many different names. I think they're all kind of the same thing,
yeah,
just called
could
different
be.
for different cultures.
Yeah. Jeez. So, when you do research, when you go out to a property, how does the intention-based research differ from the folks that just go out with flashlights and recorders? Because you see that all over YouTube too, a bunch of people just go out, and then you have these seasoned paranormal experts like yourself that are intention-based. Do you think you get different results from
I
each?
think you do. I do. Um, Again, that goes back to earlier what we were talking about with your intentions and your vibrations when you go into a place. Are you just trying to get activity for film? Are you just trying to create content? or are you actually trying to get in touch with a spirit and figure out what's there?
Mm. I wonder if the spirit knows that the difference. Maybe
I
they
would
do.
think you would have to. There's a place in Virginia City that I like to go to, and it's the Silver Queen. And it's the place where one of the paranormal investigators claimed that there's a woman who was chained to a radiator and all this crazy stuff.
Oh,
Um,
gee.
but everyone that goes there says it's scary. They run away, um, that sort of thing. When I was there, I had a communication with a spirit, a female spirit there, and for just a few seconds, we shared the same story with a male.
Mm.
Like both of us were brokenhearted over a male. And it was just that instant. It was almost like a healing for both of us. It wasn't scary at all. It was just like a aha moment, I guess. Like, there's this.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think it's based on what you're looking for. You're going to find what you look for.
So now, do you do like regularly? Do you go out and do investigations? Like, what's that like for you, or do you just go to very particular locations?
I just like to go out and see if I can communicate with what's ever there. I don't really investigate with a team or anything like that. I use like a little recorder just for like one of these little things, just
Yeah.
to see if I pick anything up, and to see if this does, just as a cross reference kind of thing.
Mm.
But for the most part, I'm not there trying to collect evidence or anything like that. So I typically I don't go with teams or anything like. I used to do walkthroughs for teams when I first started. I don't know. I just feel like most of the teams that I've been out with, they only really care about creating content. That's just not my thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of stopped doing a lot of that. It just doesn't interest me.
When you get an EVP that blows your mind, what does that do to you?
A
Have you
couple
had
times I
one?
almost wrecked. The first time I've ever heard an EVP was from the Franklin Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee, or outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I gotta say, I almost wrecked my car. I couldn't believe what was coming out of the speakers because I had connected it to the speakers and my friend was in the car. I almost wrecked my car over it.
What was it saying?
It was in an old Civil War cemetery and from the Battle of Franklin, and we caught as plain as day. This guy says, "I'm Paul," and he
Oh,
has like a almost like a Scottish accent. He had an accent of some sort. I almost wrecked my car. It was just so unbelievable. I could not believe we actually caught something coming out of the thing, and it still does that. It's still like, wow. I caught one just this past week from Armagosa Opry House, and it was I asked who's there, and it says Thomas.
oh,
So of course I
wow.
had to go back and do some. I wanted to know who Thomas was. So I went back as the second time that's name come up from
Yeah.
that location, and it turns out it was her ex or somebody that worked at the hotel's name was Thomas, and he went by Tommy. So I was able to find he's actually buried there and everything. So it's pretty interesting.
I
But
had a
yeah,
laugh
I
at
would love
hillbillies
to stay there again, and the place isn't doing very well. It got flooded out
now.
pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you hope to gain though? So you seem to have a desire to want to communicate with spirit, right? What do
Yes.
you hope, like what are you hoping for? What do you think your spirit wants to do that for? To communicate with them?
I think for me it's a calling
Mm.
because I'm able to help people with spirit art and through readings and things like that. I am part of a spiritualist church, and I do some work with them. And it's kind of like a calling. You get to help people through It's all about hope, giving hope to people who have lost loved ones. So it's very different for me. It's not about proving life. It's not about um, the existence of life after death. I kind of already know that there's something going on. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to say past that, but yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm more about trying to help people in their day-to-day life, who's lost a loved one, or maybe they're experiencing paranormal things. Maybe they need to kind of look inward and see if they have a message from spirit, things like that.
Do you ever get messages for people from spirit?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
wonderful.
do.
I like that. You know, it's funny. I lost my husband 4 years ago of decades of marriage, and I have not yet sat down with like a psychic or anybody that could reach the other side to talk to him because before he passed away, we always would say, whoever dies first, you have to give the other person a sign. And we like promised that. And I think 2 years went by or almost. And I was so frustrated because I wasn't getting anything. And I would talk to him and go like, WTF, you're supposed to, like say something. And I have his cremated remains right in my guest room. So he's still here with me. Spiritually anyway. But then I kind of gave up and I said, I'm just giving up. I'm not gonna like go hunting for it. I'm just gonna like whatever the universe wants to show me is great. And then I was walking my dog one day, and I live in a beautiful community that's wooded and whatnot, and we never get hawks here. And I love hawks, and Heidi knows this story because she's a hawk lover too. Um, and one day I'm walking my dog, and I see this huge hawk, and it wasn't just your ordinary hawk; it was a special. I forget the name of it, but and it's staring down at me from the tree above across the street. And it was when I tell you, CL, it was staring right at me and my dog. So I started talking to it and I'm like, wait, don't move. I have to take pictures. So I immediately took some pictures of it and I just said, is this a sign from my husband? Like, if it is, stick around. If it's not, fly away. And it stuck around for about a minute or two and then it left. So I looked at that as my sign. I mean, maybe it was just a way to
It's
appease myself.
absolutely a sign. And I think, a lot of times people are looking for things that are just phenomenal, right? They're looking for the things being knocked off the counter, and they're looking for
Right.
seeing like a full body apparition in their living room, things like that. And that's just not how it happens. I know that happens for paranormal investigators on TV, but this is real
Yeah.
life. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to be more subtle. So if you give the spirit, and Red Hawk, by the way, aren't they spirit guides for the afterlife? I think that
Are
is,
they?
yeah, I think so. They're connected to transpiring messages back and forth, and there's something about a Red Hawk, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but they're one of
Oh, that's
those.
tricky to know.
But anyway, if you look, it doesn't happen the way that most people look for the spirit
Correct.
activity to happen. You have
Correct.
to be real specific a lot of times. Like if you're looking for something specific, and I've done this. I was working with Archangel Michael back at, I call it my dark times, when I went through a second bout of depression. And I would say things like, if you're really there and you want me to move forward, I was talking about spirit art and things like that, then I want you to leave. And I think it was a white feather. Now I live in Vegas, so that's going to be kind of hard anyway to give me this white feather, right? I asked specifically, I need a white feather. I need it in 24 hours. I want it right where I can see it.
Oh, wow.
Sure enough, the very next morning, I go for a walk. I took my dog for a walk, and there was a white feather about this big.
No
It was
way.
not from, it wasn't from like, because we don't have any birds that have feathers like that around here. I guess we have eagles, but not on this end. So I think, it came from someone's crafts or whatever it may be. And it was just laying there in the middle of the street. It was just something I couldn't miss, right? So try it. Listeners at home, try this. If you're uncertain about anything in the spiritual world, ask a guide, ask an angel for coins. Ask for a coin. Ask for, I don't know. One lady said she asked for to see an angel. Now, when
Oh.
she asked that, I think she was looking for it to manifest. But what ended up happening was there was a TV show in the background that came on, and I think it was called Angels. And then it was about angels, and they kept saying angels. I mean, it was something, she just couldn't miss that. You can look
So
for
be
a lot of
specific,
times.
you're saying. Actually be specific about a certain thing that you want to see.
Yeah, yeah. And then start paying attention. It could also be the spirit world's giving you messages just randomly. Like a
Yeah.
song could play that
Yeah.
means something right then and there. It could be like a number. For me, it was like 444 kept showing up over and over again. It was like on my receipts. It was on a hotel room I checked in. It was just everywhere. License plates. It was on a billboard. It was just everywhere. So
Did
it
you
could
ask
be,
for that number, or was that just one of those random things?
it was just one of those random things. And then I looked it up, and it was like, it said you're on a sure path, something along those lines. I forget what the direct message was now, but yeah, it was, you can ask for numbers. You can ask for anything.
Hillbilly said, I've been trying to come up with a sign, but I always get lost in trying to decide. It's always either too common or too impossible. I don't know. Yeah, make it, well, that feather is pretty uncommon. Like, I never see feathers in the street.
I did not even expect that to happen, and it did. It was just like, wow. And then I think I asked for a coin one time, and this is another one I can't miss. I couldn't miss. It was a giant 2-cent piece. You remember those?
Oh, I sure do.
How often do you find those? It was like
Never.
right there in front of my car.
Oh, wow. And you asked for that?
No, I asked for a coin.
Oh, just a coin.
A coin, and that's the coin. It was like, you just can't miss that.
Yeah, so true. I just had a conversation with someone that I interviewed. It aired yesterday, and this guy's like a genius when it comes to writing books. He's an MIT professor and blah blah. He's got all the credentials, right? And we were talking about if he wrote this book that the universe is really a video game. It's like the Matrix, basically. And one of the things he talked about that blew my mind, and I've read this theory before, it's called the observer effect. So in quantum physics, the actual observer changes the experiment just by looking at it. So I'm wondering if in a haunting, you're shifting what's naturally to happen, because by the mere fact of you observing it, you're changing the outcome. Does that make sense?
I'm not exactly sure.
You think that could be possible, that maybe, I don't know, do they ever, well, yeah, I guess they do. They put, but even the video camera would be considered an observer. I'm just wondering if the mere fact of observing something, because it's true in quantum physics, if that would change the haunting itself. Like, maybe that's why, we
You
can't.
mean like strengthen it?
Or not strengthen it, because it knows it's being observed and it doesn't want to be seen. I don't know. I always wonder, like, does spirit want to be seen? Do some of them do and some of them don't? Because it just seems so weird that some people can tap in. Well, I guess that depends on their abilities as well, because some people can't connect at all to spirit, while others do. And I'm just wondering, well, I don't know. I just couldn't help but think about the mere fact of observing kind of ruins the haunting, the actual experience because it knows it's being observed.
I don't know. I mean, would it even be considered a haunting though if no one's there to experience it? That would be kind of like, ever heard of the sound theory? Can you
Mm.
hear a tree fall, or does the sound of a tree falling exist if no one's there to hear it?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. So if you take video cameras and you put them in a haunted house, though, and it records paranormal activity, but no one's there, why is like, I don't understand why spirit does that. Do they just exist on another dimension and are just existing there? And some people can tap, like yourself, can tap into that and see that while others
I think
can't?
so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, I think that's a whole different plane of existence.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense to me that they would be there regardless of if we're there or not.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I almost feel of course,
And then
being an empath.
as far as, some people being able to tap, or some spirits tap in, let's do it the other way, spirits tapping
Mhm.
into different people, or manifesting in front of different people, well, maybe that message is for that person and not for the other.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. Or that experience,
Mhm.
like like the experience you had, you
Right.
know? Yeah,
Maybe that was for me and not for you.
exactly. Yeah, because there are so many cases of people that get haunted like you do, and then they move out, and a new family moves in, and nothing happens to them.
Mhm.
Wow. That's kinda trippy to think about that.
I had this whole conversation with, Timothy Shaw. Do you know who he is? He does
What's
a
his
lot
name?
of Timothy Shaw.
I know I
He
heard of
does,
that name.
Black Cat Lounge with, I think it's Paraflix, and he does, like, a lot of paranormal, uh,
Mhm.
talks and things like that. He, we just had a conversation about that, and we were talking about, one of these locations. It's one of the, how people, these haunted, I'll use Conjuring House since that's in the news so much lately.
Oh, yeah.
And I made this mistake after talking to Timothy about this. And that's the beauty of it. The more you learn, the more you can change your mind about certain things and stuff like that. We just continually grow. Not one thing is in this field. No one's an expert. I'm just going to put that out there. No one is an expert. We're all learning. We're all experiencing. I don't care how long someone's been doing something. There's no concrete. Um,
I
there's no
agree.
concrete education in this stuff and research. So I don't care what anyone says. You're not an expert in it.
Right.
Just going to throw that out there. But Conjuring House, you had this whole thing with Andrea Perrin and that family, and she wrote
Yep.
3 books about it. But then you have all these paranormal investigators that will go there and they come up with nothing, right?
Right.
I used to say, well, maybe it was just a book. Maybe she just wrote the story for a book, which a lot of that might be true. However,
Mhm.
maybe she did experience all that. I believe she did experience all of that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So maybe those experiences were for her and not for anybody else. But it's not our place to say that a place isn't haunted just because we didn't experience anything in it. Maybe that experience is attuned to that particular person for a specific message. Maybe they're supposed to get guidance for something. Maybe they were supposed to experience a particular thing. I don't know.
Gosh, that's so true. I think you nailed it. I think I mean, it makes sense to me. It seems like the most plausible reason why. I know that on that property of The Conjuring, there's a neighboring house that's been going through literal hell with hauntings and possessions. So I found that kind of interesting.
That is
It's like
interesting.
it's adjoining house, like on the same property, and these people are like going through it bad. So yeah,
It's interesting. Hmm.
I don't know. Do you think you'd ever investigate that that Conjuring house? Would you ever want to just go? No.
No, I just really don't have any interest in it, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Yeah,
So
that's
most
one of
of the
those where,
yeah,
yeah.
most of your investigations are to help people, right?
Mhm.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one doesn't really have any, historical significance of any kind that I'm interested in, so I like places that have, like, an actual historical background and,
Yeah.
this particular event happened there. I'll go to places like that. Like, I love all the Civil War places. I love all the gold mining towns and
Oh, yeah. Have you been
stuff
to
like that.
Gettysburg? Have you been?
I haven't been there. Everyone says I need to get there. That's one of those
Yeah.
places I haven't been yet.
I hear so many stories coming out of there. It's crazy. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be a lot going on over there, and rightfully so. So when you draw, do you see the image in you don't have an example you could hold up for us so we could see what it would look like. Do you?
Oh, don't. Dang it.
Oh, I would have loved to see because I'm trying to like visualize what you're drawing and what you're seeing. Do you see it in your like third eye or your mind's eye? Are
I
you
do. They're kind of like flashes. If you go
mm,
to I think there's one on my website, maybe,
oh,
if I didn't turn it off.
is that C.Thomas.org?
Yes.
All right,
I
let's
think
share
it
that.
might be on the front page.
Let's share that. Okay.
It might be there. I don't know. My website's kind of going through something right now, so it might have pulled it off. There it is. Yeah, there's one right there.
Oh,
That's what they look like.
that's a
Um,
great example.
for one, this one here, it was a woman. She used to live on like a little ranch kind of thing. That's what the red
Mhm.
barn is in the back. She had he wasn't that young. He was probably in his like mid-20s, and he passed away from it was like a freak accident, like a car wreck, truck accident.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they used to live on a like a ranch kind of thing. And that's what I was seeing. And he had a previous person that passed on that met him on the other side. And that's what you see in the photo. I think that was his dad. Um, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like, though.
That's good. I didn't imagine it to look that way.
Yeah, he had
And
blonde hair. And I keep meaning to put, there's image that she sent, and it kind of looks like him.
mm,
I meant to post it on there, but I didn't.
yeah, I definitely recommend folks to check out your website there. Yeah, I agree with you, Care. She said so many experts out there, they write books and have diplomas. Congratulations. It's so true.
Yeah, anyone can write a
It
book
kind
these.
of muddies the waters of like the whole high strangeness industry, if you want to call it that. It does, it muddies the waters because like sometimes I get so inundated listening to like people that um they have YouTube channels and Instagrams and they're always coming out talking about spirituality. And one person could say one thing and it's an absolute contradiction to what somebody else is saying. And it gets so like I just have to stop and then just listen to what works for me. Just You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, you have to
yeah,
work with what resonates to you. Does
yeah.
anybody else feel that way? Because I find it to be, it gets flooded with fraudsters too. And
There's a
let's
lot of
face it.
fraud going on out there right now.
Yeah. And it's all for money, right? And fame,
Yeah.
clicks, clickbait.
Yeah, that's kind of the unfortunate thing right now with a lot of it.
Yeah. And I see a lot of it on Instagram for some reason. I guess I don't use TikTok, so I see a lot of it on Instagram, and it's so disheartening.
It's quick money, right? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of people have made this their sole income too, and it is what it is. It's part of the TV people. I say that's the entertainment world, and so even though they're not on TV anymore, that's what they're continuing to do, and
Yeah.
it just builds off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was told firsthand that a lot of those jump scare moments are intentionally built in to those shows. So, I stopped watching them because in the beginning they were so popular. Everybody was watching those ghost shows thinking that they were legit. And it turned out that a lot of the jump scare moments were all fabricated, and it's sad.
Yeah, there's YouTube videos now where there's film people and stuff coming out with that too. It's kind of interesting. I just saw one the other day actually come out about the behind the scenes of how they filmed one of those shows.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, somebody that was on the production team actually released it. So, when you're on a show like that, they make you sign disclosures and everything for that stuff. There's a reason for that.
Absolutely. Even that ghost adventure guy, Zach, he started out with so much publicity, millions of views, and now I think people are just wise to it.
You know why he became so popular and successful at that, though? He was one of the first people doing that and going to some of these
Exactly.
ghost town locations. I remember you had two groups. You had the ghosts. What's the one with the Jason Halls guy?
Oh, Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters, and then you had Ghost Adventures.
Right.
And I think the Ghost Hunters one was good, but they were doing house calls at the time. Remember that? They were only doing, and they were fabricating it like it was like they were working a day job or whatever, the plumber thing. It was kind of neat what they were doing. But then you had the Ghost Adventures guys came out, and man, they were going to like ghost towns and all kinds of neat places.
Buffering. Yeah, we buffered. I don't know. Every now and then, a StreamYard just buffers, and you get like a such a high tech, 2026, and we can't get past buffering, right? Crazy. Yeah, I agree with Hillbilly. He said every site seems to have demons, elementals, negative entities, ghost
yellers. Because it makes TV. It's about the ratings. It makes TV.
Exactly. So what do you do? What's like your primary objective moving forward? Do you just want to keep things at status quo and do, what you're doing with your art and, just speaking to entities yourself and not, or do you have something in the works, maybe another book or like, what do you have in the future that you're dreaming about doing?
There's a couple of things. There's a couple irons in the fire right now. I'm kind of I'm undecided about the magazine at this point. I had a lot of backlash from the paranormal community on that one. And it's just a lot of jealousy and things like that. I'm just kind of tired of it. So I backed away from the paranormal community, kind of doing my own thing. And I'm not sure about the magazine just yet. I have a couple of days to decide what I'm going to do with that, to move forward or not. I'll know more in a few days. I am going to put out 2 more books. One of them pretty soon. I'm looking at a different publisher for one of them. It's a historical fiction. based in Goldfield, and it was of a spirit that I actually connected with while I was there. So I was
Oh,
able
wow.
to I did a lot of I did like 2 years worth of research to find who this girl is, where she came from, everything. So I have, like, birth certificates, death certificates, I know her whole family,
Oh, wow.
where she lived in Texas, and I constructed this entire story around her life. So I'm gonna release that. And then the other one is Ghost and Grit, and it's of some of my travels at around the ghost towns and things like that.
Oh, that'll be very interesting. So this girl, did you communicate? My dog's growling if you hear that. Oliver, get over here. He's a big growler. He's like, 20 pounds. He thinks he's a Doberman. I don't know what his problem is. This girl that you communicated with, what was her name?
Her real name is Anna.
So she existed and you
Mhm.
communicated with her. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What did she talk to you about? Was she
It's
brutally murdered or something, or did she have a
um,
tragic?
she was a suicide case
Oh,
from
no.
Goldfield, and I saw her in the cemetery. She was standing by her grave in the cemetery, and I just saw her. It was just like an instant. I saw her, ran to the cemetery, saw the little plaquage on the thing, and just started doing a little bit of research on her, and just felt led to write about it.
Wow, that's, like, beautiful in a way. Maybe she wants you to tell her story, like,
Or
do you
bits
think
and
that's
pieces of it. I think so. Her name is not recorded as the correct name on her tombstone. So that is one of the things I'm working with the archive, the historical society with about getting that changed.
Oh,
Get her real
wow.
name on there.
What happened? I
Her
wonder if
father was
this
from a well-to-do family and didn't want associated with her, so they put a
Oh,
fake
I
name on there.
see. That's sad.
She's got the real last name, but not the real first name. The first name was like a pet name that her friends called her, like a nickname, instead of
Mm.
using her real name.
When was the last time you communicated with her?
It was just maybe 2 times, and that's it. I haven't
Oh,
been back. I know where's that rock? This little rock right here. I'm gonna put that back on her
oh, do you
gravesite.
come from there?
Yeah, once I'm done, I'm gonna put that back on her gravesite.
Wow, that looks like a crystal.
Mhm. It is.
You found that
Mhm.
on her
Mhm.
gravesite?
It was near there. It wasn't on her gravesite, but it was, kinda outside the cemetery. But
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
and,
beautiful.
that's gonna go back on her stuff when I go back.
Where was this now again?
Goldfield, Nevada?
Oh, so not that far from where you live?
Mm-mm. No, it's like my backyard.
Is Nevada known for, like, a lot of hauntings, whether residual I mean, are there hot spots?
You
'Cause you always
know,
hear about ghost towns and, you
Nevada
always
is
hear
it's very haunted here. Very, very. I
I
didn't
thought
expect
so.
that when I first moved here. There's a lot going on, a lot of activity, a lot of Native American stuff. There's a lot of Spanish conquistadors, those that came across on the
Yeah.
old Spanish Trail. Um, yeah, there's a lot of old civilizations that lived here over the
Do you
years.
think you were compelled to go there, like, unconsciously? Like, what drove you there? Do you have family there or
Okay, so I went through a tornado in Nashville, and I had a bunch of friends in Vegas. And so a bunch of us moved from, there was probably about 8 of us that moved from Nashville to
Oh,
Las
wow.
Vegas.
Well, that's fun.
Because it's almost like the same industry, but no tornadoes.
Oh, I see.
Windy here, though.
Are they still out there with you, those friends?
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome to have 8 friends move with you.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of brought the South to Las Vegas in a
That's
way.
great. Are they all into paranormal too, or
No, 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 a lot of them are in the music industry. No, they wouldn't be caught dead doing paranormal stuff.
that's funny.
One of my friends is a sound engineer, and he does. He'll say, yeah, that's a voice on there that shouldn't be there, but he will not admit that it's
Yeah.
a spirit of any kind. He wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Some people just are so that scared that they just feel if they don't accept it, it's not real. You
Exactly.
know? Yeah. Which I get. I absolutely get that.
He does
I
make
mean,
another one of my friends who does that engineering stuff. He does make a good point though. He says, a lot of that stuff, these paranormal investigators go out with this equipment that's all based on a lot of it's based on like Siri and internet usage and things like that. Um, they're not using Faraday cages, which is what the government uses to keep out any interference with anything. So probably a lot of this stuff is interference with your radio, like as far as like the REM pods and equipment like that. It's probably interference. A lot of it probably isn't actual evidence.
I tend to
That's
agree with you on that. I'm not one for all that techie equipment. Some people love it. Some people have 9 million gadgets and they're always, using one or the other. And you see that a lot on the ghost shows too. But I think to me that it's like fakery because I think a lot of the technology is primed to give you what you want in
right.
terms of, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you got that
EVP,
phone. The phone apps. Everyone's using those phone apps.
yeah,
I forget the name of the one that everyone's using. Even the TV guys are using that one. What's the name of it?
I don't know. I have a
Necro
regular recorder.
Necromancy, I think it's called.
Oh, geez, that's a nice name, isn't it?
Well, listen, when you download that app, the first thing that it asks you to turn on your internet. Can it follow you? That sort of thing.
Oh,
You
shit,
know what
forget
it's
that.
doing? It's a Siri app. It's collecting where you are. It's tracking where you are. It
Oh my
hears what you're
goodness.
saying. You know what I mean? So of course it's going to answer
It's
where you're
tracking
at and all.
your
Yeah,
every move
exactly.
through your phone.
Exactly. So that one is
Scam.
absolutely not real.
Just get a
Not real.
recorder like you have, with it. You have tape. Is that a digital one? Because I have an old school one with
Yeah,
tape.
it's just an old little
Yeah.
digital. When I used to when I do any kind of interviews or anything, I record with one of these just so I don't miss anything. And so I just naturally carry that anyway, everywhere
Yeah.
I go.
Yeah, the digital ones are good. I have an old school one with actual tapes because back in the day when I went to college, I used to record all my classes, and it's kind of cool because I still have the tapes from the classes. But I don't know. I never tried to capture an EVP because I'm so worried about inviting something, even though I know how to protect myself. I'm so worried about inviting an unwanted guest that I just won't do it. I mean, probably would never happen, but it's just my own fear. But you've never had that happen.
I mean, I get a lot of EVPs for some reason. Wherever I go, I get EVPs, but it could be a negative one or not. Like, for instance, there's a ghost town that I like to go to way up in the mountains, and it's one of the more remote ones.
Yeah.
You have to hike into it and that sort of thing because the road's washed out. But on that one's a little more scary. It's got like a darker vibe to it. And one of the EVPs that I caught from that is, and I could play that one. I'll
Oh.
have to find it. I'll post that one. It says we're not human.
Oh, jeez.
We're not
Could we
human.
hear that?
And
Would we be
yeah,
able to oh my
I'll have to post that later. I'll dig it out and post it
okay.
for you.
That would
I'll send it
flip
to
me
you.
right out. We're not human.
We're not
Okay.
human, but it's I'm not scared of it because at the end of the day, what I do when I try to communicate with anything, I automatically, and this is what the Monroe Institute teaches you. You build your protection energy balloon, is what they call it. You place yourself in that energy balloon, and whenever you're calling in these entities. They can only be either equal to or greater than you. So equal or greater. They can't be lower. So even if they do, even if they are in this recorder, they can't affect me whatsoever. They have to stay there. They don't have permission to follow me. They you know what I mean? So there's that protection barrier.
Are you setting that parameter before you take the EVP?
Every time.
Yeah, you
Every
have.
time I go into a place like that.
What do you say? Like, do you have a specific thing that you rehearse, or?
No, I center myself, I meditate, and and the Monroe Institute will teach you to do this too if you do that. You place yourself right in your bubble, and it only takes a couple seconds to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, even with folks that use Ouija boards, which I think is another crazy thing to do, they'll open and close, make sure they close the session, because I think that's a real thing. I think you can inadvertently bring things home with you, and especially if you're a light worker and they see that light, they may be attracted like a moth to it. So you got to protect yourself at all costs. But I'm very curious about the EVP thing. I mean, I'm a believer in it. Do you think any of it is like, what's that? The opposite of pareidolia, like where we have to, when we see things, we want to make faces out of them. So when we hear sounds, do we want to make it sound like it makes sense to the brain? I know there's a term for that. I can't think of it.
I know what you're saying. I don't know the term either. And it's interesting you mentioned that, because there are EVPs. I like to play this game all the time. I'll post them online somewhere. Like I'll put them on, like there's one I posted on Instagram a while back, and I just say, what do you hear? And there will be like 50 different things that people hear in that message. It's incredible. It's kind of like the game telephone.
Yeah.
You start out with one thing and then you end up with a completely different message.
Absolutely. It is like that. That's why I was asking you, because I mean, some of them are probably very clear. Like the guy that said, I'm Paul, you probably heard that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them, I'm just wondering, because even with the ghost shows, they'll play an EVP and then they'll tell you what it says. And then the next time they play it, we're hearing that exact thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. When I post them, I always start out like, let's play a game, and then I'll post it, and then I'll just say, what do you hear? Like, I don't give any hints. I just say, what do you hear? And then let people decide.
I like that.
But I'll start doing that again, because that is kind of a fun game.
Yeah. Where are you going to do that, on Instagram? Well, or
I don't know. I'll have to decide. I'll start doing that again, though. I'll pull a couple EVPs out.
I definitely will.
I used to do it all the time, but
yeah.
EVPs are like my favorite thing with the paranormal. I feel like out of all things, that's the number one, because you can't really refute it. It's a voice on this thing that shouldn't be there. How did it get there? That's the number one thing to me that is evidential, if anything.
Absolutely
you can't manipulate this.
Yeah, there's another one. I don't know the name of it again. It's like a double blind study. So they put headset and scarf over your eyes.
Yes,
what's that called? There's a name for what that particular thing.
Yeah, there is. I forget the name of it. Shoot.
That's kind of mind-blowing stuff, because it's not really tech. They're using an EVP and they're just double. Yeah.
I used to be really taken by that, but now, I've tried it a couple times, and you know what the problem with that is? We don't really hear what that person is hearing. So how do we know that they're not trained to say a certain thing at a certain time? And the reason why I say that is because in one of the shows, I was at a location. I'm not even going to say what location it is, because I don't want to sit and just tattle on one of these TV shows, right? One of the I was at a location just recently that a TV show had just recently been in for their show. And there were markers everywhere. And
Oh,
it's like
no.
one of them had the name of the guest that was there. And it was exactly the spot where that guest started acting up and saying, "Oh,
Oh,
they feel this." So you see what I mean with this? So we're not really hearing what they're hearing on that, and it's just too easy to say, "Okay, we'll pipe in this," or you know what I mean?
yeah.
Now, when I did it with a group, we didn't cheat and we did come up with really cool things, but the TV people,
I think it's
gotta
fake
do
news,
better than that.
a lot of
Yeah.
it. And it's sad because what's that show with Amy? Spirit something? I used to really think it was legit. And they do that double blind study a lot on there.
What is it? I almost had it. The Epstein. What is the name of that?
I know it's gonna drive me nuts. It's with Amy, oh my god, I'm so bad with names too. But I thought that show was legit. I used to watch it all the time. And I'm like, wow, this is really a legit ghost show. Because they were into like helping people resolve all these family hauntings and crisis. And then I find out it's phony baloney stuff going on. Just like so
That one.
upsetting.
Wait, the one with Amy Bruni. That one's fake too.
Amy Bruni. I heard it was. I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
what's it
oh,
called?
it's called the Estes method, and you know what? That's a
Yes.
version of an older method. It was something similar that people used to use back in the day, and that's where that came from.
Oh, so that's like a historical thing.
It's not a historical thing. They took another technique that was used by, I think, Hans Holzer and a couple other people, and they
Oh.
for modern stuff.
Boy, he was legit, that Hans Holzer, right?
Yeah,
I think he was
I think he
legit.
was completely legit.
Oh, absolutely legit, I think.
Yeah, that's, again, you have entertainers and you have the real people that's in it.
Exactly. And it affects the population in negative ways because then they get jaded when they find out that a lot of this stuff is fake. And that kinda and then they get so jaded about believing in the spirit world, and you don't want that either. So, I mean, and there's infighting in the spirit community too, right? Like I
Yeah,
see some of that stuff and it's crazy.
it's a lot of yeah. It's a lot of people just trying to make an income these days because there's no TV shows anymore. That's what it's become. It's
So
a battle for the dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. What, if you don't mind me asking, and you don't have to answer this, but why did they come after your magazine? Was it jealousy or?
Jealousy is one. I think one of them sees it as competition and got their entire group after me.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's anything that might take the spotlight away from somebody else or in a dollar. So I always say follow the money.
You're spot on. So your magazine, do you write these articles exclusively or do you have people write them?
I have people write them. There's a combination. So I write a lot of it and then people contribute. Because I like to highlight contributors.
Yeah, of course. These are events like if you going out, you just write about everything and anything paranormal related, right?
No, it's a paranormal travel magazine.
Oh.
So Eerie Expeditions magazine, it's about paranormal travel. And what I wanted to do with that was look into like cultural hauntings at a specific place, haunted history, haunted locations, legends, all of that. Because what's happening is when you see the TV shows, they tend to only focus on the celebrity that's there, and it becomes about that celebrity.
Yes, it does. That's so true.
So I wanted something to focus more on the location, not to celeb. So there is no, and that's the other thing. There's no celebrities in my magazine at all. It's all based on the property, the location, the legend, the history, things like that. And a couple people don't like that. So,
Jeez.
they want them in it.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, how long have you had this magazine running?
Not very long, less than a year.
And you're ambivalent about whether you're going to keep it going. You said,
I don't know yet. Let's just say a couple people really hurt me over it, and it
oh,
just wasn't necessary. So I don't know. It's a lot of work for a lot of heartache.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Plus, you have your other life and
Yeah, I never started out with this stuff to make this a business. I have a day job. I make money by other means. I've never made any money off the paranormal.
oh,
The little bit that I did bring in went back into, like website costs, things like that.
sure, of course.
So,
People forget that that's so expensive.
yeah. So, I mean, it's not like I'm out to try to make money in any way. I've never made any money off of this. And I don't know. I feel like the treatment that some people have done over the past year is just, it's wow. I can't even,
I know.
I don't know. I just feel like, I hate to say it, it's some of the worst people I've ever met in my life
Oh,
in the
jeez.
paranormal field. I'll just put it on, I'll just say that.
Were these people you trusted, or you kind of
Oh
knew
yeah.
that?
And the one guy I really thought was a friend. There was one guy I really looked up to and I thought he was a friend, and it turned out he just wanted money from me.
I know
To
why.
give you
Why
an
is that?
idea, I'll tell you a little story. This is a guy, he is a celebrity. We were friends. And
Mhm.
this guy claimed to, be a father figure, this and that. He was calling me on my phone all the time. So I text him about my dog. My dog was just put on hospice. I was very upset about it. I had a golden retriever of 13 years. This was my kid. And I thought, he'd be a little sympathetic as a friend, but totally not. This person was in the middle of something else. He got mad that I texted him, and then he said, I have bigger problems than this. He
Oh,
goes, don't ever contact me again. And I was like, I thought we
what?
were friends. Where does this come from? Because, I've done nothing to that point. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. It's not you. And then the next message, he was like, I sell dog food. Why don't you buy this dog food? It might heal her. And it was just so insensitive what this guy was saying. It's like,
That's
do you not
awful.
understand? I'm putting my dog down and you're trying to sell me dog food because you partner with them? Really? So that's the kind of people that you're dealing with paranormal. All they care about is making money. And, I hate to turn your show. This is not what we
No,
started talking about.
no, no,
But
no. It's the truth, though. I mean,
yeah, this is kind of
it's
why
so
I'm
tragically
so.
sad.
And this guy, I mean, he's running Paracons, and what he does is he tries to, I feel like I was targeted for
Yeah,
money, basically. I was a target of his. And that's what he does. He finds these people at these Paracons, he targets them because they might have a job or a little bit of money, and then he tries to get what he can from them. He stole like $9,000 off of my friend
oh
who was
my,
depressed at the time. You know what I mean? That's the kind of guy we're dealing with, and he's at all of these Paracons. It just doesn't make any sense. And then you got another guy who's supposed to be a medium, who's saying that he's a spiritual advisor and all this kind of stuff. And he's right up there too. He's online calling people fat and all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's not a spiritual advisor.
what?
Yeah. So all I'm going to say is these people might have TV shows, but at the end of the day, they're not experts. They're just out collecting money from your cash or cash
You're
from
right.
your pocket.
You're exactly correct.
Be careful of who you follow. Look at what they're posting and things like that.
That's such great advice. Michelle said, those kind of people will have to face their actions in the end, and I believe that too. The
Yeah.
truth always kind of comes out. No, you don't think so?
But anyway, that's my rant of the day.
Yeah, no, it's a good rant. It's a telling rant because it's not only in the paranormal world, it's in the real world too, that we face in just business, everyday business too. There's a lot of scum, so to say, out there, and you have to really protect yourself. And there's a lot of good people too. There's so many good people. You just have to find them and attract them. And I think
Right.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I just think there's a small fraction of people. It's not everybody in paranormal. Let me restate that. It's not everybody. It's just a small group of people who have been on these shows that are kind of desperate, I think, for money at this point. I think that's what it comes down to. And unfortunately, they're the ones at the Paracons and things like that. You just got to be careful who you follow. If you're not sure, like you said, actions speak for themselves. Go snoop online and see how they're treating other people online. That's a big teller right there.
That is a big tell. And the minute somebody starts asking you for money, it muddies the water. You just know. Like I've heard stories of guys that met girls, well, mostly poor men are the victim of it. They meet these women on these dating sites, and then they talk to them once or twice, and then she goes, "By the way, I need $20,000." Like,
yeah, I don't. The paranormal has it's become prone. Like, look at all the GoFundMes and stuff that are out there right now with the paranormal crowd.
And I think it's such a great way to end this conversation with, the warning to our listeners. We have a lot of FM radio listeners too. And I think it's important for them. Don't trust, the psychic that's going to promise to connect you to your dead spouse or mother or anybody. Like get references. Get references from people and make sure you validate them, vet them before you right?
And just don't go out there spending money just because this person has a TV show either. That's a big one. Just because they're on TV doesn't mean they're the expert know-all. And a lot of times they're not even real.
It's true. It's fake thing. Oh, thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you. We love you. We love everyone in the chat. And of course, please be sure to tell us about your show, when it airs. How can folks find you? Like, what platform is your preference? Talk about that.
Wait, say that again?
Your show on the network. Talk about it. Tell people how they can listen to it, stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. You faded out there for a second. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
So the website is C.L.Thomas.org. I have the radio shows on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, the Gateway Podcast. And then I'm about to start up the Small Town Tales. It's going to be a short docu-series on YouTube. And that's just about the legends and historical background on some of these places that I get to visit.
Wonderful. Are you going to have guests on there too, or is it just going to be you?
No, it's not even going to be me either. It's so I'm going around filming some locations and then doing voiceovers and stuff about the historical background. Like I'm tying in all of the historical background to everything.
Oh, be sure and share that on social media so we could all subscribe.
Yes. So I don't know what the channel is. It's my YouTube channel though, where all of this stuff gets captured at.
I think you can Google either C.L. Thomas or the Gateway Podcast and you come up. Either one.
Okay.
So folks,
you can find it from my website. There's a link there off my website.
Of course, which is clthomas.org. Right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. This has been an absolute joy getting to know you, and I hope you will come back again.
I will. Thank you for having me. And I'm sorry about the whole rampage at the end there.
Oh, no. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was the perfect way to end this show. Thank you so much, CL. It's really a blessing getting to know you, and I will be in touch, and We're going to do this again.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear friend. Bye-bye. That was absolutely brilliant. I learned so much talking to her. She's such a genuine soul. Um, Wonderful vibes, even through the screen. Absolutely loved it. So, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I adore you all. Thank you so much. It means so much that you're in the chat asking questions, and I read them all. So, even though I may not put them up on the screen, I make sure to read them. So, thank you all. You've been listening to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 in New Orleans. And we spent so much time today learning about CL, her life, her work. And I think what she's doing is amazing and brilliant, helping other souls for the pure motivation of just helping them. And that's a big lesson for all of us. We all need to pay it forward a little bit more, I think, if I might say so myself. I love paying it forward. It's one of my favorite things to do. So thank you all. God bless each and every one of you. And I will see you tomorrow. I am going to have Preston and Dolly on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So please, please, please join us. We all love Preston and Dolly dearly. And they're going to do an amazing thing tomorrow. They're talking about OBEs and remote viewing, and they're going to teach you how to use your abilities. So I'm stoked and excited. I can't wait for that. So make sure you all join in tomorrow at 3. God bless everyone. Love you all dearly. Bye-bye.